What is going on, YouTube gang? It's that boy Texas Sankey, and today we're going to be looking at a little bit of an NBA recap over the last week or so, focusing mostly on this Pascal Siakam trade since the last time we tapped in. So, one thing we're going to look at first here is some of the stats that Bleacher Report and the NBA have put out. But leave a like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, helps us continue to grow and do what we want to do over here, man. So Siakam to the Pacers, obviously a very interesting trade. They give up those 3 first-round picks as well as Bruce Brown to acquire him. And this is some of the more interesting things, adjusting to his fit with the roster. And he's played one game so far. They play the Suns tonight. Probably by the time this video comes out, that game will have been over. But you can see right here, um, this is basically saying that he still has some rebounding and playmaking ability outside of just being a scorer, as well as some defensive ability that's obviously showcased and will really help Indiana, hopefully going forward as their defense really struggles. And we'll probably talk about that a little bit more later on here. His usage, we'll see how that changes once he really takes hold of the system here in Indiana, but I would assume that continues to go down as he plays with Halliburton. He's shooting amazing this year, obviously, and he's having a really good season in general. He's a really good ISO scorer, which is something they don't necessarily have outside of like Benedict Mathurin, and then I guess at some points Tyrese Halliburton. So that gives them a little bit extra layer of scoring as well as his post-up ability. They don't necessarily want to give it to Miles Turner down there all the time. So this is the I don't want to say issue right now, but with the Pacers defense already being kind of lackluster, and someone like I think it was Malcolm Brogdon said, he's just going to take whatever shots they give him. And if we look at the box score here, I think he had like, what was it, 30 or something? Yeah, he had 30 points. And I mean, they just get so many points given up in the paint, and that's been a staple of both their offense this year as they push in transition, but their defense just opening the gate, letting everyone through. So they really have to work on that and figure out what they can do about it. Siakam does help a little bit as he can slide in front of some of those wing cutters and stuff, but overall, I don't think that is necessarily big enough of a plus to be a needle mover. On offense, he did look great and connected well with the team. Obviously, hasn't been in the system too long, so doesn't have a great feel for it maybe yet. But efficient game here, and that's kind of the main thing that they're pointing out in these stats is efficiency. So that's always a great thing to see. And his break ability, he's always been touted as one of the best fast break players and fast break scorers in the league, and he has shown that, especially with a team like the Pacers, who, not to make a pun, but they do push the pace quite a bit. That's something that they can benefit from on their offense already. And then the thing most glaringly, obviously, is how do you have this grade of games from Tyrese Halliburton with 21, 17, and 0 turnovers, may I add. Your entire starting lineup is in the plus minus differential, and yet you lose by 3 points, and that is kind of from these guys right here, mainly Ben Mathurin. I don't want to talk too much on, but he has really kind of slumped since that beginning to his rookie season, and unfortunately, that is someone that they could really use right now. Bruce Brown, but we won't get into that too much. So tonight, they match up against the Pacers, and this is again going to be a test of their defense. It's just like, can they stop Kevin Durant and Devin Booker? Are they going to be able to stop the rest of the team from getting to the cup? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And if we take a look at the standings right now, the Pacers are currently the 7th seed in the play, and now they are tied with the Heat and are only a game and a half behind the New York Knicks. To me, it's just, this is so glaring. they have about as good a defense as the Detroit Pistons, to put it in perspective. How do you win a playoff series like that if you can't stop anyone from scoring? You know what I mean? Especially against some of these teams up here who have really capable defenses. The Miami Heat, New York Knicks. I mean, like, look at their defenses comparatively. Obviously, the Pacers do push the pace, but once the game slows down a little bit in the playoffs, I feel like that can really become an issue for them. So we'll see how that works. And I'm very excited to see them in a playoff series, but not too much outside of there. Outside of that, the Timberwolves are still at the 1 seed, but the Thunder are right on their heels, and it'd be interesting if the OKC Thunder take the 1 seed at some point this year. Man, that'd be probably a pretty big story overall. The Golden State Warriors remain outside at the 12 seed, and I want to talk a little bit about the Rockets real quick before we get out of here, because the Houston Rockets, they are kind of to me how the Jazz were last year. They started off very hot, kind of fizzle out a little bit. They have some veterans, but a young core overall, and are really mostly looking to develop their players, I think. It's just, if you're in their spot, where do you look to go? Because you're not going to be worse than these teams, probably. You might be able to be worse than the Warriors, but it's like, do you go ahead and try to fight for a playing spot? I think they should. I think it'd be a worthwhile acquisition of experience for their young core. So that's kind of where we're going to leave it off for today. Let me know what you guys think about the Siakam trade. Does it really push the Pacers up at all? Just looking at the teams above them and thinking, who am I confident that they can beat? I think the Heat would be a very interesting series. That one, I do actually kind of like the Pacers matchup, but I just think that Spo is going to come out and figure something out to slow down the Pacers. But that is one I could see them winning, as well as maybe the Cavaliers. But like Knicks, Sixers, Bucks, Celtics, I just can't see the Pacers beating them in a 7-game series, with the personnel that each of those teams have at the moment. And the Cavaliers even have been very hot lately and could swing it around. And I mean, I don't really have a reason to pick them over. Just I think that maybe last season's playoffs is kind of leaving a little bit of an imprint on me. But anyway, man, again, let me know what you think about Pascal Siakam. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's been your boy Texas.